So while you're looking for that, Mike, I'd like to ask the viewers if there's any viewers out there that have maybe been into TM or yoga or meditation in that realm where you go into an altered state of consciousness, and maybe want to share the experiences that come with giving your mind over or submitting to that realm, and then what takes place in that meditation state.
Sure, give us a call. But you know, meditation, so this is in the Oregonian a week and a half ago, and it says in the article here that meditation is making a big comeback among brain scientists after its first heyday in the 70s. And that's when I was into it, and a friend of mine built a biofeedback machine, and we learned how to generate alpha waves into that altered state of consciousness back in 1971. And they go on in here and say that advances in brain imaging and monitoring have made it possible to see inside the brain and explore the biological forces creating and driving conscious thoughts. Well, I would disagree with that. I wouldn't say it's biological forces that are driving our thoughts. It's our own, we think our own thoughts. We're allowed to think our own thoughts. And it's not an evolutionary aspect. And Jeremy will be right with you. In this article, they show that, you know, there's a lot of good things. You can reduce pain. You can get relaxed. There's a lot of good things. And I'm going to share in a few minutes, maybe after we talk with Jeremy, about Maharishi Yogi, who's saying that, you know, it should be a law to make people meditate. And the goal is to come in through science. And this was shown to be a ruse, a trick back in the 70s to get Western civilization into the spiritual aspects, because Maharishi teaches that no matter what reason you get into meditation, it's going to end up spiritually for you. And you're going to be involved spiritually. It doesn't matter what reason it is. And they say, yeah, the West wasn't in the 70s that into spiritual things. They were more into science, still are more into science. And so they're still using that avenue. And it's going to be successful because they're going to see that, yeah, you can relax, yeah, you can do certain things, but at what cost? You're going into the spiritual realm of altered states of consciousness, the states that shamans are into, and you don't want to be there because of these demons. Anyhow, Jeremy, what would you like to share with us?
I think we lost Jeremy.
Well, Jeremy, you can call back if you like. I don't know where you went to. Bill is writing, lost him, which we... Yes. So, I hear that phone ringing, so probably Jeremy. But before Jeremy gets back on, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, how many of you might remember him? Yes, Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey.
How you doing?
Just good, fine. How are you?
Good.
Hey, you know, spiritual meditation, my experience before I was a born-again Christian was one with the experimentation with drugs and alcohol. And it was like that with me. Drugs had a way of channeling your mind, and especially the use of, you know, people say marijuana is just, you know, the easy drug, and it's not really a drug, and it should be legalized and all of that. But it's a form of meditation, and it takes your mind, you know, away from the things of God, certainly. And that's just kind of what I wanted to add.
Yeah, it alters your consciousness. So it's not necessarily meditation, but hypnotism alters your consciousness. Meditation's kind of a hypnotist process. You kind of self-hypnotize yourself by meditating. I used to do that too, and I did drugs back in the 70s, late 60s also. You know, and Jay, you did a lot of that too. And Satan wants us to get into an altered state of consciousness because it's easier for demonic forces to get involved with us.
Hey, Jeremy, this is kind of a touchy subject, but have you talked to people or known people with the bipolar disorder?
Yeah, actually, I've got some friends with that disorder.
And what do you think about that? What's your opinion on that and the voices they hear in their head and into going from one extreme to the other?
Well, I have no idea just because of the fact I'm not a psychiatrist, but it does seem to appear that their minds are literally hijacked, and they do go from total extremes. And I've had, people tell me after they've come off of these, sudden, shifts in behavior, hey, that's just not me. I was like that yesterday, but I'm not like that today. So please I apologize.
It's interesting that you said shifts, because there's a movie that I thought it would be out by now. It's called The Shift. Back in the late 60s, it was the age of Aquarius, that we were going to go into a whole new world, and now it's called The Shift, and it's being promoted by a lot of these same people. Marianne Williamson, who teaches on Oprah's satellite station, is in the promotional part of the film for The Shift. And it's on the YouTube if you want to take a look at it. It's a 6-minute clip, The Shift. And supposedly they're running out of money. I don't know why. Maybe Richard Branson pulled out of it. Richard Branson was backing it, and he was in the promotional aspect of the film, talking about the great shift that's coming on the planet, and we all and the shift is an altered state of consciousness that Maharishi Mahesh Yogi wanted to bring to everybody and make it law that you get your state altered. And of course, that's what, according to the Bible, that's what Satan wants. He wants everybody under him because he wants to be as God. He wants to be worshipped as God, and he wants all humans to worship him as God. And have you seen anything, or that word, the shift, at all anywhere else, Jeremy?
No, I haven't. That's actually new to me. I'd be interested in checking it out.
Well, you could check it out on YouTube, and you'll see Richard Branson there. And Richard Branson, by the way, he was so into it. On another film clip on there, I learned that he wanted to set up a panel of elders to solve the problems of the world. And he felt that Desmond Tutu, and Tutu was going along with a few other people that are named, just a couple, but Desmond Tutu would head up this group. And they're tied in, they've got a lot of clout. When you have, I don't know, $8 billion or so, with a B, you can influence a lot of people. And, we showed a film from a great film, Megiddo 2, and Keating will be with you in a minute. Keating's holding on line too. But a great film called Megiddo 2, and it had this woman, Barbara Marx Hubbard, in it, and she's a multimillionaires as well, and she's started up all these different societies, and she's promoting the shift. And people even who claim to be Christians, like Brian McLaren, he's got a shift conference, and he's got a website with one page showing the shift, and he's talking about contemplative spirituality. It's just another term for meditation, and whether he knows it or not, he's leading people away from the truth into a lie. Anything you'd like to say further, Jeremy, before we pick up on with Keating here?
Heaven and earth may pass away, but God's word will never pass away. God bless you, friends.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
And one thing that Jeremy brought up as far as the drug and alcohol, there's a definite conscious shift in the mind. So there is a connection there. And I'd like to, on this bipolar issue and just the drug aspect of it, share with the viewers, and I've shared this in the past, the Greek word for sorcery is pharmakeia, pharmacy. So there's also a connection there with those prescription medication drugs, and the world wanting to put a label on our conditions and then medicate us.
Well, some medicate. Some drugs are good, they're made out of natural things, but some are not meant for people to